I have the 2023 Rive Menetou-Salon. This is a white wine coming from the Loire Valley. I wonder if you can guess the grape. This is a grape that is taking the world by storm right now. America is obsessed with this grape. It's citrusy, it's aromatic, it's lovely with a salad, and more importantly, it's what's in this bottle right here. I have to tell you, I have loved Sauvignon Blanc for the last few years, but it was not really a grape that I initially went to. And I think that was because I just didn't know where to go. There were so many bad ones out there, but now I feel like there's so many good ones, and I'm very, very excited about the one we have here because some of the best Sauvignon Blancs in the world are not labeled as Sauvignon Blanc. They're labeled as the regions that they're coming from. So Sancerre, Puy-Fumé, Bordeaux Blanc. These are all regions that produce Sauvignon Blanc, but rarely do you ever see it actually on the label. Sauvignon Blanc is produced, grown pretty much everywhere in the world. There's really no place that I've ever been to where they're like, no, not for us. It is a grape that does extraordinarily well in lots of different places. It can play well with others. It can move around. It can do lots of things. It doesn't need a whole lot of fuss when it comes to winemaking, but it is a grape that really highlights the terroir, the region that it's grown in. And so for that reason, it's a really exciting grape to drink around the world. Now, there are places like the wine where it's coming from in this bottle that really don't get the credit that it's due. We're talking about the Loire Valley, which is a great place for Sauvignon Blanc. I've mentioned Sancerre, I've mentioned Puy-Fumé. These are two places within the Loire Valley that are really, really famous for producing great Sauvignon Blanc, but they're on the eastern side of the Loire Valley. The place that is coming, the wine is coming from here today, is coming from more of the center of the Loire Valley, which is a place that grows incredible varieties outside of Sauvignon Blanc. It grows Pinot Noir. There's some Chenin Blanc in there. But because of that, it's not necessarily strictly known for Sauvignon Blanc. And so sometimes it sort of gets, thrown into the mix and flies a little under the radar. But it's still an extraordinary place for the grape. And more importantly, it can compete with the best of Sancerre and Puy-Fumé. So what do we have here in the glass? Well, it's doing all the things that we love about Sauvignon Blanc, which can really, as I said, run the gamut as to what the aromatics are going to be. In some places, it's going to be incredibly green and grassy and herbal. You've probably had New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs before and noticed that it's really, really herbaceous. That's really normal coming from New Zealand. But if you're in somewhere like California, like in Dry Creek Valley, that's going to be a slightly different interpretation of Sauvignon Blanc. That's going to be the slightly more citrus, Meyer lemon, orange peel, grapefruit rind, all of these things that are a little bit more fruit forward in character that maybe lean a little bit more on the baked side, the fresh side. And then you have places like the Loire Valley. The Loire Valley is, to me, the best of both worlds. It's going to give you a little bit of that really lovely citrusy thing going on, but it's also going to give you slightly more herbaceousness. But it's going to give you one other thing that I think is really, really lovely about Sauvignon Blanc, and that is this gorgeous, gorgeous floral characteristic. And that is what's in this glass here. It's a lot of floral, it's a lot of citrus, and there's some herbal tones just sort of skimming underneath the surface to let you know, hey, I'm still Sauvignon Blanc. I've got a little pyrazine going on here. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten who I am. So as you stick your nose in the glass, move your head around and kind of look for those things. Notice the temperature that this wine is served at. Notice whether or not it's a little too cold, because if it's too cold, you're probably not getting all of those really beautiful aromatics. And if it's too warm, you might be getting too much of those. It might be a little too aggressive on the nose. So make sure you're getting this at a really nice temperature. I always like to play the 20-20 rule, which is if your wine is already in the fridge and it's a white wine, you want to pull it out 20 minutes ahead of when you're going to serve it. So if you're enjoying this wine now and it hasn't had that 20 minutes to relax in the glass, just, gently let it warm up a little bit. Move your head around and really take in those aromatics, because that's what we love so much about Sauvignon Blanc is aromatics are always, always really, really expressive. Let's talk about the palate. So there always tends to be really bright acidity with Sauvignon Blanc, right? It's kind of that zigzaggy acidity. It feels very lifted. It feels very bright. It feels very fresh, like someone just squeezed a lemon inside of this glass. But what I love about places like the Menetou-Salon because there's a roundness to this wine. There's a weight to this wine. There is a structure to this wine and a density to Sauvignon Blanc that you don't always get in lesser places. And that's really what's happening in this class here is you're getting really great expression of terroir, not only for the grape, but also to give it this roundness, this softness that you're really feeling on the texture side of things here. Move around a little bit and just keep kind of letting it open. And do you feel the acidity right here? This wine is expressive, but it's also balanced. And that's why I love the textural component of that. It's kind of being the support to allow that acidity to kind of run free. There's a lot of it here. Now, what do we eat with wines like this? Well, you have sort of the obvious, right? I always talk about anything you can squeeze a lemon on is really great. But because we're in the Loire Valley, there is one thing in particular that I always gravitate towards when it comes to the Loire Valley and white wine, and that's cheese. Cheese and Loire Valley white wines are just a match made in heaven. And I beg you, if you're drinking this wine, please go get yourself a little bit of goat cheese or some boursin, something that's like a fresh cheese, spread it on a cracker, spread it on a piece of bread, whatever you have, and just watch the magic happen. There's something so intrinsically beautiful about Sauvignon Blanc and cheese that's going to feel so incredible. So if that's the only thing you take from this video, I hope you run with it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you love it, and I hope you fall in love with Sauvignon Blanc if you're not there already, because there's so many great expressions of it, including this one right here, and this is just one of a lot. Enjoy.